What's up, you guys? It's Sir Scrub here, bringing you some more Scrub Tier Yu-Gi-Oh! And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Master Rule 5. What cards and engines and decks that are going to be getting a boost from this rule change. But before we get into today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you'd like to support the channel in other ways, check out the description. But with all that junk out of the way, let's go ahead and jump both feet into today's video. So with these new rules, I'm going to assume you guys pretty much know what it is. I'm just going to give you a real basic rundown. But essentially, Konami has fused Master Rule 4 and Master Rule 3. In that, Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monsters no longer have to be summoned to the zones that Link monsters point to, and can be summoned straight from the extra deck right into a main monster zone without the need of Link monsters. So this is essentially going back to the way things were in Master Rule 3 before Link monsters existed for everything but pendulums and obviously Link monsters. Now this is essentially what we were all wanting, a nerf to pendulums while not really killing off all of the older strategies, which is essentially what Master Rule 4 did. So let's start with some individual cards that are going to be buffed by this rule change. The first and most obvious card is Dimensional Barrier. D-Barrier is a powerful card against the older strategies that will no doubt be revived after the rules update. Stopping a Synchro Spam deck from being able to Synchro Summon is obviously very powerful. Excuse me. Beyond that, another card that is definitely going to see more play is Bahamut Shark. If your deck can make rank 4s and just happens to be water attribute, this gives you access to Totally Awesome. I would definitely have my eye on this card. One of the most powerful cards this format is going to get even stronger after the rule update. I am of course talking about Super Poly. Without having to worry about clogging the extra monster zone or links at all, this card's ceiling is most definitely going to be higher than it is currently. Along the same lines is Instant Fusion. Without needing links to open zones, this card is a live extender at all points of combos, allowing you to extend past hand traps. Another card that can be unexpectedly useful is Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. This card can be a silver bullet against certain strategies, sniping Hyper Librarian away from Synchro decks or other powerful cards away from extra decks that can instantly turn the tide of a duel. Beyond that, all the other hand traps are likely to see more play again, considering they're pretty useful against some of the older strategies that will no doubt be resurfacing. Of course, Nibiru is going to be able to help stop all the combo decks, but don't sleep on Dark Ruler no more. Few older strategies have built-in counter traps. And I know Solemn Judgment is at 3, but we're talking about decks that are going to be wanting to run all gas. They don't want to have to run those so-called bricks of Solemn Judgment just to stop Dark Ruler no more, so this can be a really powerful card for your side deck. With that being said, let's take a look at some engines that will no doubt be boosted by this rule change. So what engines can we expect to pick up steam? The first one that popped into my mind was the Wind Witch engine. This is a one-card engine that can turbo out a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon that also cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is a really powerful play that also protects the rest of your plays from hand traps. This engine does have the drawback of locking you into only being able to special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn, so do be aware of that, but it does not use your normal summon and only takes one card to start it. So you still have the other 4 cards in your hand to be able to play, and you don't have to use your normal summon, and Crystal Wing is no longer clogging up the extra monster zone for you to be able to go into all of your other Synchro and Xyz and Fusion plays. The next engine I would definitely suggest picking up is the Invoked engine. This engine can be used in conjunction with the Wind Witch engine as it did in the past, or by itself. The biggest disadvantage to this engine is the fact that it does cost the normal summon, but it does have a lot of advantages. Firstly, it can add another layer of disruption to your boards, either by going into Invoked Mechaba, which is a pseudo Omni Negate, or Invoked Rajdin, which is a Book of Moon on legs, both of which are obviously super powerful. Beyond that, this engine has some pretty sick synergy with Super Poly because of Invoked Elysium. Once your invoked monster uses its effect to disrupt your opponent, you can fusion it off to further disrupt their plays, and then Elysium itself can also disrupt their plays. So just seeing the Alistair with a way to fusion summon and the Super Poly gives you access to 3 different layers of disruption, which is pretty powerful. All of that is without even mentioning this is another 1-card engine. Meltdown searches Alistair, which searches Invocation, which recycles Alistair, and Meltdown also prevents your opponent from negating your invocation. Another engine that is expected to rise in popularity is the Artifact engine. This engine can turn off the extra deck for the opponent, similar to D-Barrier, except it's not restricted to a single monster type. Beyond that, this engine also gives you a body on board for Link, Synchro, and Xyz plays, and of course Trap Trick makes the engine super consistent. As well, I would also consider the Frog engine to be getting a slight boost, since it can help make Totally Awesome, which is an Omni Negate that is not going to be clogging up your extra monster zone. With that being said, let's take a look at some decks that are no doubt going to resurface after these rules. So starting off with the one deck that I think the entire community thought about, DDDs. This deck needs multiple different monster types to function properly, and now without having to worry about links, the ceiling of the deck has certainly gone up. However, I would like to point out that this deck does have a weakness to Dark Ruler No More, so be aware of that, DDD players. Moving on, I would actually say Blue Eyes is getting a boost from this rule change. This deck can go into its archetypal Synchros and Red Gates without having the Link summon first, and since it's pretty slow and low on resources, that's actually pretty impactful for the strategy. It's not going to be tier 1 or anything, but it's certainly going to be a lot more viable than it is currently. I would also say that Paleo will receive a boost from this. Its ability to just vomit out as many rank 2s as it pleases is certainly going to be useful. Another deck on people's minds is also Black Wings. This deck synchro summons a lot. I think that's about it. Beyond that, there's also the old Wombo Combo synchro spam decks like Quasar Turbo and such that the synchro loyalists are no doubt going to try. And you have the rank 4 toolbox back in viability with older strategies. So with that being said, let's go ahead and end this off here. This is obviously a very massive rule change to this game. Our formats have already been pretty diverse, and this update is certainly going to open up the door to even more decks. Overall, I think this is exactly what we all wanted from Master Rule 5. Most people were pretty pissed at Master Rule 4 for nerfing older strategies, and now they're not only returned to their old strength, but they're actually stronger now. Older strategies can still summon monsters to the extra monster zone, so effectively they have 6 zones for summoning their monsters now, making Synchro and Xyz spam so much easier. But that's all I've got for this video, you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you do want to see more creative content from me, please be sure to check out the description for all the different ways you can help support the channel. But most importantly, don't forget, be a scrub. Peace.